Squads is a new game mode in Fall Guys where we're teaming 4 Fall Guys up together in a quest to win the crown. And the crucial difference between Squads mode and normal Fall Guys that people have played before is that being eliminated does not completely eliminate you from the game. You only get eliminated if your entire squad perform poorly on any given round. We've all been in that situation where our teammate gets eliminated in the first round and they have to sit there and watch you compete. And, there's this pressure to be like, oh, maybe we should all just back out, go to the main menu and have another go. This allows you to basically all perform as a team. And what's great is that almost all of our rounds work in squads mode. And this kind of takes you through from our race rounds, through survival rounds, some of our team games, to the final. And then the finals work as they always do. So only one of you needs to win, and then all of you are rewarded with crowns at the end of the episode. So it's a really exciting change. It plays really differently and it creates lots of new interesting strategies in different rounds. It's definitely something that has come from watching streams and talking to the community and just seeing a lot of those posts saying like, I don't know how you guys would do it, but just I want squads mode. I want to win or lose as a team. And then initially, one of the things that we try and do with Fall Guys is make the game inclusive. And it's not that inclusive when you have a massive difference in skill because players end up sat watching and spectating and that kind of sucks. And that's something that other Battle Royale games do a lot better. Like if you look at something like Warzone and their resurgence mechanics where you're constantly respawning in and helping, that works really well for a squad that has one really good player and one really bad player. And I think we've been looking at games like that and thinking a little bit about how accessible Fall Guys really is for lower skill players. And I think this should be really nice. And I think the final thing as well is that what this potentially does is allow players to experience later rounds that they might not usually get to if they're allowed to play with really high skill players. A really good player can kind of carry you all the way to Hexagon. And so you're allowed to get some training in on Hexagon and then take that training into solos mode again and really like put your practice from those later rounds that you don't usually get to experience into play in solos mode, and then you're always going to win the full crown to yourself. Current plan is to kind of put this live for 2 weeks and see how it does. The hope though is that we can really turn this into a permanent mode within Fall Guys, because it's really great for us to have more social game modes in the game, things that you can jump on with your friends and really enjoy as a team regardless of those different skill levels. It's something you've seen be really popular in other Battle Royale multiplayer games, and it's something we've always wanted to do in Fall Guys, and it's been on our feature list basically at the top since we launched. And it's taken us a while to figure out some intricacies of it because it's slightly different and there are some kind of interesting gameplay mechanics that we've had to design to make it work, but I'm really excited to get people playing it. But I think out of our 40 something rounds, I think about 38 of them work for squads mode, which is really, really cool. So you can go in as a squad of 4, or you can go in on your own and it will match with other people, or you can go in as a squad of 3 and we'll kind of fill those extra spaces. I think that's really important because we don't quite know how many people are going to want to jump in on day one, so it's really important for us to create as many avenues for different people to jump in and start enjoying squads as you can. So when we were designing squads mode, it's really important that everybody gets to have a good time. And so we can't qualify your squad if the first person crosses the line, first one across the line wins it for their squad. That's bad because it means that players who are slightly slower or slightly newer to the game don't get a fun experience because they might only be a quarter of the way through DoorDash and then suddenly they're qualified and it's like, oh, I didn't get the satisfaction of crossing the finish line. And we want those players to be involved in the show. But at the same time, we don't want to wait for the last person to cross the line because then you're only as good as your worst player. It puts a lot of pressure on people to quit if you're doing badly. The way it works is that you gain points for crossing the line, and if you come first you win 60 points, if you come last you win 1 point, and we eliminate the worst teams who have the lowest point scoring total. And that's really interesting because it means that in certain moments it's better to try and sabotage some of the other players to let your other players catch up. So it might be worth on Seesaw trying to keep the Seesaw balanced so that no one else can get to the finish line so that the guys behind can catch up, or trying to grab people on Whirligig to get them eliminated just so your stragglers can go. And especially it should really reward people who finish first. It should really make those top spots really viable. It creates a really interesting different way of playing where it really goes down to the final wire and you can see your squad ranking is sick. Then you know that only the top 6 teams go through. It's a very different very high intensity way of playing. So we're still figuring out the exact economy. One of the things we're adding for season 4 is the concept of crown shards. So that's going to be something that the community have been asking for, which is a way for us to reward players for like nearly reaching a final round and completing certain specific challenges. And we're still figuring out exactly what the reward for squads mode will be. We think probably it will be slightly less than the main show. We can't go around giving out 4 times as many crowns as we usually would do. Like, we want those things to be achievable and hard to get still. So we're still figuring that one out. But the idea is that if you get a decent squad, you should be able to win much more in squads mode than you do in the final show, especially if you can find someone who's really good to kind of like help bolster your team. In theory, we've made it 4 times as easy for people to achieve that trophy. I said in an interview like 6 months ago, I was like, we're going to make it easier over time. It should be slightly easier for players to get infallible. We're finally there.
If you want even more Fall Guys, then why not check out the Fall Guys Season 4 exclusive Short Circuit level reveal.